Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. New England gets more at 24.
What's up, everybody? That was super loud, but
I like it.
With good reason.
Celtics beat the Knicks. What's up?
Your Boston Celtics beat the New York Knicks 123-117. A win that didn't feel very likely early on, as the Celtics were fumbling their way, much like I just almost fumbled this cup of water over. And but the Celtics turn it up. Jaylen Brown goes for a season-high 42 points. Ugo and Walsh and just everybody getting in on this. Eddie House called it the best team win of the year. And, I'm not going to push back on Eddie House.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, no, because it's also against the Knicks. And yes, there's the rivalry. We go back to last year, the playoffs, the Knicks getting Boston out of the play. All of it. The Boston, New York history behind the rivalry. So I also think Eddie, to back him up with what he's saying. Because look, you see the Celtics beat the Pistons. That was a great win. So, why does this one make it better? Because so many guys contributed in different ways. Jordan Walsh is that fourth quarter, that offensive rebounding, unbelievable. And Ugo's defensive minutes, all of it. So I just think that going up against this sort of team and to get a win, and Jaylen even starting off rough in the first quarter with all those 3 turnovers that he had in one quarter, and then boom, 42 points. It was a great team win.
Man, I'm really bummed Spike Lee had to watch that and from his beautiful courtside seats. So
hard.
Look, it doesn't erase what happened in the playoffs. Obviously, the Knicks still have a little bit of bragging rights, and the season series now 1-1. But I do just love the way the Celtics. I mean, they did not have a good first quarter, but found a way to hang in there. As you said, Ugo's defense in the second quarter, kind of flipping things around. Jaylen go with the scoring burst. Everything Jordan Walsh did in the fourth frame to get you to the finish line. Derek White knocking down shots. Everybody had their hand on this. Kayla, do you have a headline for tonight?
I can make one up.
Okay. What is most on your mind? I can feel for a little bit because this is much like the Tommy Award where we could go in multiple different directions. For most of the night we were joking because Scal wasn't part of our broadcast tonight, so Eddie was deciding the Tommy Award, and I kept sitting there going, he's got to give it to Ugo. He's got to give it to Ugo. Ugo's been so good. And then, Jordan Walsh comes in and does what he does in the fourth quarter. I was like, we got to give it to Jordan. We got to give it to Jordan. Yeah. But then I'm thinking if this goes down to a final shot, we're going to have to give it to whoever makes the final shot. Jordan Walsh got his second straight.
And that's a good problem to have, by the way.
I mean, right?
We're trying to figure out who we're giving
everyone's doing something. Derek White diving on a basketball after the Jordan Walsh wins the tip and then having the layup off the Sam Hauser 5-second violation almost inbound. I'm just telling you, this was a really good win for all the people that touched.
I'm trying to chat. I won't chat GPT a role thing.
We can
I'm trying to chat GPT in my own brain, how something about role players starring out. I don't know. You know what I mean?
We could try to put a New York spin on it,
Bing Bang Boom.
We could do. If it was at MSG, we could have done a Broadway thing. We could have said role players take center stage at Broadway or whatever.
Okay, Chat GPT Chris.
There we go. Chris GPT.
Chris GPT. That's can you just elaborate, restate that headline? Because that's mine.
All right. So
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Role players take center stage at TD Garden.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Why? Which role players most?
Okay, so let me explain. Jordan, all of them, from Sam Hauser hitting a clutch, 2 for 3 from downtown, but clutch threes, threes that, and Joe's been asking, he was asked before this game, I believe it was from Cedric Maxwell, who do you want to kind of step up in moments? And he pointed out Sam Hauser. And for Sam to just hit dagger threes in crucial moments, and he didn't explode to have this ridiculous game, but it was just when the moment mattered. So Sam Hauser, Jordan Walsh, you can go on and on about him, getting another Tommy Award, but also just the effort, the offensive rebounding, the going up to hustle. And by the way, back-to-back games where we saw him rip the ball from the Cavaliers. We've seen this effort, and it's paying off. Ugo's defense guarding Karl Anthony Towns and then Brunson. And it's just Minot getting a huge block in that moment. So, all the role players, and I don't even love calling them role players, but we understand. All those guys just mattered and made their moments count. So Broadway stars.
I'm trying to think what I was doing when I was 19. Certainly wasn't defending Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson and having grown man strength. What what Ugo did in that second quarter and providing the energy was incredible. I go back to it, like my whole fourth quarter notebook from pretty much crunch time was Jordan Walsh. 2 putbacks. He like intercepted a pass and kind of kicked it ahead and then got another offensive rebound. Celtics ended up turning it over. But the driving layup from the corner where like it looked like he was going up to mash on someone and muscled it home when the lead got down to 3. The jump ball win. Derek White was just everywhere. I mean, I'm sorry. Jordan Walsh was just everywhere. Derek White was everywhere too, but Jordan Walsh especially.
He buried the lead.
And, like I said, I don't know if my Michael Jordan Walsh nickname is going to catch on.
Say that one more time because I really like it.
Michael Jordan Walsh.
How does he we need Abby to ask him if this one approves. You can't not approve.
No,
that.
so I think
it's just a little high.
I think people get a little skittish when you compare them to Michael Jordan.
Putting
him
in that conversation.
It's probably unfair to put that on anybody. But he's been that good where it's fun that we can have some fun with it. Now, if you didn't hear, Abby interviewed him this morning at shoot-around, asked him about the collection of nicknames.
I was shot down.
He shot down Kayla's.
Huge L.
The Walshing machine.
That was clever.
I thought it was good, too.
He hated it. He called it verbatim horrible.
I did not intend for Abby to necessarily ask him to tell him this one. I had jokingly called him Baby Rodman because there's a little bit of Dennis Rodman in him. Where like as we saw tonight with his way to muscle his way to rebounds and to defend, do all the stuff that made Rodman so good. Now, no one, same deal like Michael Jordan. No one should be compared to Dennis Rodman. I don't think he's going to get a nose pierce and fly to Vegas on off days. But look,
come in his pajama pants.
Do your thing, Jordan Walsh, if you want to. But like whether it's Baby Rodman or Baby Worm or whatever we want to however the next version of Dennis Rodman we want to call him. Walsh has been really good, and it's fun that we're now at the point where it's like, hey, this guy needs a nickname.
Yeah, and the thing is too about Walsh is like with all these guys, especially when you go from being DNPs last year and now not only are you
DNPs this year.
I know, right. DNPs last year, transitioning into this year, and then to go be a starter, a consistent starter. It's like now you have to look at yourself and say, okay, who am I? What am I in this league, in the NBA? And I feel like Walsh is starting to discover himself among these players, like understanding where he's great at, like the role that he's great at, which is defense, but it's also the putbacks, like being feisty, he's the spark guy, but in a starting role. So I just think he's starting to figure out how good he can be 100%. And and it's showing.
It's crazy. So they're playing Washington next, and I think it was the last time they played Washington was the one game he went in. He was just like, I'm just going to go crazy rebounding the basketball, and it got him playing time. And then it was like he was making so many good things happen. They put him in the starting lineup, and ever since then they're now 7-2 with Jordan Walsh as a starter. Even the 2 losses, Brooklyn, who they rallied back against to make it interesting in the fourth quarter, but then like just completely lost their mind that night, and Minnesota, which they were right there at the finish line. And I do think Jordan Walsh is making good things happen. A big reason, Eddie was big on our post-game show talking about everyone needs to kind of know their role and like understand the rotation, and then things can kind of kick to a higher gear. And it just feels like at every level, the Celtics understand who they are right now. Mm-hmm. They've made some swaps, like Garza isn't playing right now. Boucher hasn't played since the preseason, really. And they're leading into some of these younger guys. But like it feels like we know a little bit more who they are.
Yeah.
Their offense is starting to – I mean, the offense was 4th in the NBA coming into tonight. It should go up because of the output tonight. It feels like it's starting to come together a little bit. Still another level to like fully go to. But man, like through 21 games, at the quarter mark of the season – you feel pretty good about your Boston Celtics now, 12-9, 3 games above 500. Not bad for a team that was 0-3.
I was going to say, are you surprised? But like, I'm pleasantly surprised. Not that I feel like going into the season, I said they'll ride in the middle of the pack. But the teams that they're beating right now, the Knicks, the Pistons, the Cavs.
Sometimes that's why it's great to have you in here because you could not set me up. If you were just going to lob the what's your headline
Did I just do a behind-the-back pass?
My way. So normally on these post-game pods, I like to try to stay super locked in on the game. And like I could easily sit here and gush for a long time about Jaylen Brown's 42 points, him just like abusing Jalen Brunson at every turn, his dunk where he blew past Brunson and slammed on Clarkson, and like just everything that JB did in this game, like really the dominating the second and third quarters and giving the Celtics a chance to not only surge ahead, but then enough of a cushion to get to the finish line. But I am going to pull back a little bit to the 10,000-foot view. And maybe it's because it's the quarter mark of the season. Okay. Maybe it's just there's been such a deluge of games here. But my headline for tonight is it's time to reassess or reevaluate expectations.
I like that.
Because
it's time to reevaluate expectations.
We came into the season,
Facts.
And understandably, there was this idea that we needed to temper expectations, that it might be a year where a draft pick would be the most valuable thing, where we knew there would be some ups, some downs. And a 0-3 start certainly hammered that home. And I was more bullish on this team than I think most. I think I put a lot of faith in what Jaylen, Pritchard, and Derek White could do. And I was hopeful that, given a greater opportunity, some of these young guys would evolve. But even I have to admit, a lot of the younger players have exceeded a lot of what I thought was possible.
Yeah.
And now as we stand in early December, with every Jason Tatum Snapchat video that he puts out showing him doing some new move that I can't even do with 2 full Achilles tendons,
That's true.
I'm left to think, like, oh my gosh, like, this team is really good. And, I mean, really might be strong, but this team is very good. They're just completed a 5-game stretch in which they beat the Pistons, the Cavs, the Knicks, and the Magic, which in my mind are the 4 best teams in the Eastern Conference. The records being what they are and what Toronto and Miami is doing aside, those by the end of the year will be the 4 best teams in the Eastern Conference. That is, unless the Celtics muscle into that conversation ahead of one of them. And if not, they're probably 5th. So for me, I think it's time for us all to kind of step back. And now, look, I'll leave open the possibility things could go off the rails very easily. Like if Jaylen Brown got hurt, I'm going to knock on every piece of wood in this studio. Like things get difficult in a hurry. But if the Celtics are healthy, if Derek White, who has, for small pockets of games, pulled himself out of this whatever random funk that he's in for the start of the season, and Peyton Pritchard, who, has his moments where he just doesn't have it on certain nights, if those guys all start just fully going, and you're getting this from Walsh and Ugo and Kayla and like all the stuff that's happening, the Boston Celtics are not a play-in team. They're not a lottery team. They are a legit playoff team, and the sort of team that, especially if Jason Tatum is back out there and whatever version of Jason Tatum is out there, Kayla, the rest of the Eastern Conference is not going to want to see these Boston Celtics.
You made a great point. I think it was post-game. It was post-game of, let's say all the stars align and Jason Tatum comes back and whenever, but this season, Brad Stevens may have to reassess like how he's looking at this year and next year, because
100%.
These guys, they're clicking. It's funny because on paper, like, they don't look like, the most flashy of names. And maybe, of course, Jaylen Brown and Derek White and Peyton, but then it's like, all right, we'll see what the front court looks like. We'll see some of these other guys, these newbies, but it's clicking. They're understanding how to play with each other and for each other. And then I think Joe is even understanding how to, push certain buttons and implement certain pieces to the puzzle and take them out and reassess. Like, he's starting to understand his group, and they're all being bought in. There's something in this. I mean, I want to knock on wood too, but there's something in this New England area, this Boston, where it's like the Celtics, the Patriots, everyone may not have the flashiest of roster or names, but you just get the buy-in and everyone does their little part. You're right. You're not just talking about them being like, kind of being an okay team, but they're making a playoff push.
It all starts with having a really, like a superstar, Jaylen, Drake May, whatever you want to, make the comparison. And then everyone buying into their role and being invested and playing for their coach, and coaches making good decisions. The Celtics do have more wins than the Patriots now, so
it's true. It's true. Let's compete within New England.
I'm not here to talk about.
Can I say something too? Did you think? I think everyone appreciates JB for what he's doing. Obviously, that's needless to say, right? But going into, I flash back to preseason, even when Tatum went down with the injury, the conversations around, Celtics are screwed.
Right.
They're done. Jaylen, I don't know if he can carry this. Like, I heard a lot of that, and for him to be playing at this consistent level, even when he was not great in that first quarter, and to still come out with 42 points, did you go into this season thinking that he would play to this caliber?
I think I said it on Postgame Plus, right? Like, you find out the most about somebody when they're faced with adversity. And I never think you never look at it as adversity when Jaylen comes into the season and you don't have Tatum, right? Like it's just different. And I'm sure he approached it more the opposite way. Like I finally have my chance here to show what I can do as the focal point. And so while other people would frame it as adversity, Jaylen looks at it as an opportunity, and he has made the most of it, right? Like he's just been so much better than I think most people thought he could. And I don't know what my own expectations were. I knew he would be good. I did not think he'd have, what do we have to, 11, 12, 30-point games?
I think it's
3 40-point games.
Yeah.
Like he's averaging almost 30 points per game. And, you know, I brought it up. Like the other night he had one of his rare duds where the mid-range game wasn't working. Nothing was working. 3 of 13 from the floor. Still goes out there and gives you a triple-double. Still gave you 29 points generated off assists. Made everybody else around him better. Tonight, first half, I'm thinking, this dude's kicking the ball all over the gym. And every time he turned it over, they turned it into 3 points on the other end. I'm like, this could be a long night. Settled in, never lost his mind, and he was as good as we've seen him in that second quarter. And that's a big reason why I think, we're the readjustment of expectations, because I think Jaylen has exceeded what we thought was possible as sort of the focal point. And it's funny that we even have to start thinking about, well, what is it going to be like when Jason comes back? Like, that's a great problem to have. When you have two superstars capable of carrying a team at various stretches, like, we'll just figure it out, because Jason's not going to be Jason out of the gates. So, like, don't even worry about that. Like, if we're talking about, like, how is this going to work, that's a great problem. That means Jason Tatum is back on the court.
So true.
And we'll cross that bridge when we need to. My bigger curiosity is with this guy over my right shoulder. If you're on the audio version, you can't see Brad Stevens lingering over my right shoulder, scrutinizing everything I say.
I can validate you that
yeah,
he is there.
I mean, I feel like it's steering through my soul.
He is there.
Brad, when we came into the season, I think the expectation was always like, all right, Brad, probably going to think about moving Anthony Simons, or do you move Sam Hauser? You got to find a center of the future. You know, I still think those things are true, but I wonder if you look at it differently. Like, do you need a Simons if you think you're going to be competitive in a playoff series, and you just worry about like how you change that asset up over the offseason? Do you are you more likely to add than sell? So I've been pretty honest that the Celtics have to at least think about shedding some of that money, because there is long-term benefits to getting under the tax in multiple seasons. But there's no guarantee they're getting there next year, especially if Tatum comes back, shakes Russ, and you look like it's go time again. It might just be like, save as much money as you can this year based on what the team is, but then it's time to spend again. I know Bill Chisholm's going to want to put a championship product out there, and then maybe they're closer than we think already. So, maybe it's time to spend at that point next season, or the off season, or whatever you want to call it. But I do wonder like how Brad approaches this trade deadline. Like, we don't have to really think about that until December 15th. That's the unofficial start of trade season. But I do think, again, the calculus is changing here about how we're viewing what's going on.
And in a weird way, it's a good problem to have, because 100%. I think maybe, not that Brad or Joe and the front office and these guys like didn't expect the Celtics, this specific group, to be playing at a high level against really top teams in the East and the West, etc. But I think for him to like kind of look at everything being at this point, like he has to say, okay, not that I didn't expect this, but you're right, I gotta look at this thing now, because we can make a push here. And then when Tatum does come back, I have chills. Even obviously everyone has the chills for him coming back because of he's Jason Tatum, the superhero. He's the best. But you also get the chills of Jaylen Brown is playing out of his mind. You pair that with the hero coming back, and then you got the playmakers around. This is a team that can make a push. Yeah.
I'll go back to it. I mean, you just beat the 4 best teams in the Eastern Conference. Do you think any of those teams want to be the 4-5 matchup against the Boston Celtics if that were to play itself out? Like, that's daunting. And I'm not saying Tatum's going to, like, Tatum comes back, shakes first. I don't even know what they'll do with him in the playoffs. Like, do you play him every game? Do you want to put that much wear and tear on him? I have no idea. Cross that bridge when you get there. Right. Like, if you're even in the position to make that sort of decision, everything went perfectly. I just feel like, well, I would never say this is the peak version of what you could have thought going into the season. There's still things that they need to get better at. There's still like consistency they've got to reach that is befitting of a team that is competitive. But I think you can just see that there's something more there than we probably thought going in, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun that we're like, wow, this team is.
That's what it is.
Cool.
It's like okay, this is a weird analogy. I was like thinking of we've been in the Thanksgiving, entering Christmas holiday season. I'm thinking of like a dessert that someone brings to the table and you're like, I'm good on that. Like, it's all right. Like,
Did this actually happen at the
you
Burton
know,
family?
shout out Grandma Burton.
Oh, wow. Don't tell me Grandma's catching strays here.
First of all, the fact
What did she put on the table? And you were like,
that Grandma's even trying to make dessert. I'm like, wow. She actually used to make, and I'm not going to go into my stories of Grandma Burton baking, but she would make this, she'd make this Jell-O kind of thing, and it was called, she goes, baby, this is my Jell-O. And I'm like, what's it? And so later on in life, my siblings looked at each other and we're like, do we? And so it was a plate of Jell-O, but like, it actually was really good. It had like pineapple crunch in the middle.
Okay.
But bizarre, right? Like,
yeah.
Very bizarre. And we'd see it and be like, oh, that's Grandma's Jell-O. And so later on in life, we all looked at each other and we texted each other in our group chat.
No.
We go, y'all, do we ever really like ask or question like what ingredients was in this thing? And I still don't want to know, to be honest, because it was just so bizarre. Better left unsaid. Anyway, I would not compare Grandma Burton's Jell-O to the Boston Celtics right now, but I will say this. It's one of those scenarios where you're looking at like something that didn't look as tasteful as what it is now, and you're like, that's how I view this team right now. Like, I went into this season being like, it's all right, we'll see, we'll hang on in there. I think they'll ride in the middle of the East. They may get beaten by some pretty of the great teams like the Cavs, like the Pistons, and here they are like, man, this is good.
All I could think about while you were describing Grandma Burton's Jell-O mold is the scene in Christmas Vacation where Aunt Bethany wraps up her Jell-O mold, and then Randy Quaid sticks his finger in it, and it's lime.
That's like what it is. Like, you're all looking at each other.
And
like,
then it's on the table when they're doing the dinner scene, and Cousin Eddie really likes it. So
we're all looking at each other like, are you okay? Are we okay? Like, did I grow like another ear?
I believe that one had little cat food, like dry cat food in it.
Dude, the crunch in the middle is sus. It's suspicious. I don't know.
Save the neck for me, Clark. Having a vehicle you can rely on, that's important. That's why you can rely on 24 Auto Group. They will treat you like family. And that's because they are family owned and operated. They're honest, easy to work with, and they just get it. Whether you're looking for something sporty, something luxurious, or just a solid everyday ride, 24 Auto Group always comes through. With 9 brands and 11 locations across New England, there's something for everyone. And here's the best part. They've got the knack to save you more on a new or pre-owned vehicle, and the knack to pay you more for your trade, up to $2,400 over book value. You can even drive home with just $24 down. So if you want the best deal without the runaround, go see my guys at 24 Auto Group, because you always get more at 24. Online at 24autogroup.com. Let's look ahead real quick. This has been a crazy stretch. 5 games against like 5 top-notch opponents. The same cannot be said for the 6th, which is now the Washington Wizards.
This is what scares me a little bit.
And Kayla, when you started to say it, that's where I was going to go. As soon if you put it to me and said, "What do you expecting on Thursday night?" I was going to be like, well, "Let me tell you what, Kayla.
No bueno.
Wizards scared the hell out of me the same way the Brooklyn Nets scared the hell out of me. Like, because this Celtics team through the years, it's not the good opponents that bring out the Bird Wars basketball. It's the teams that they maybe just let the foot off the gas, or they just are not as laser focused. So, yes, I am slightly leery of this game.
I hate when the Celtics play these on-record bummy teams. Yeah. Like, they're with, 3-12, whatever the record is right now, the Wizards. They only have 3 wins on the...
3-17?
3-17. They only have 3 wins on the season. They have the second to worst record in the NBA.
They did just beat the Bucks.
And they're 2-2 of their
game.
Last 4. So, like... They can compete. CJ McCollum, you know how he can get going and his shot selection and all of that, especially against the Celtics. I think he does a good job for the most part playing the C's. But I'm not here to talk about the Wizards. I'm here to say the Celtics, I do not want to see them take their foot off the gas against these lowly teams like Brooklyn, like the Wizards. Like, it's just Utah even. Right?
Don't undo the good that you've done by being super good against the best teams.
Because then you got to crank it up against the Lakers on Friday.
The one thing I will say is, while we're on the subject of like expectations, it's like there's only so many times you can lose to the Jazz and the Nets and for heaven forbid, they trip up against the Wizards, all of a sudden, those add up by the end of the year. You throw away enough of those, and instead of being 10 games over 500, you're 4 games over 500. It's just it sounds minimal, but it does complicate the path. So you got to be able to take care of business. And Brad's still staring a hole through me here. My advice to the Celtics would be, if we are at sort of the unofficial quarter mark of the season here at 21 games, 20 and a half would be the exact. So halftime of this game was the quarter pole of the season, or the quarter mark of the season.
Oh, good job.
This might be a good time to say, hey, Jaylen Brown, why don't you just save yourself the trip? Don't even come to D.C. We got the Lakers on Friday night. We're all going to be over there for our pregame, post, and half that night. So let's just take a day, relax. We're gonna throw Ugo and Jordan Walsh and Minot, and we're just gonna say, hey, go have some fun out there and let the chips land where they may. Celtics sort of did that the other night. I mean, Derek just needed a day off at some point. And Kayla was obviously nursing the ankle. Maybe Kayla stays home too if you want to play him on the second night of a back-to-back. Long story short.
Dang, is everybody staying home?
I'm staying home.
Yeah, are you staying home?
No one's going to DC. But I do wonder how they'll trade with this. And sometimes the best way to get the energy, if you think you're going to be lacking, is to put some guys out there who don't get the opportunity very often. And that's no disrespect, because every opponent is tough, and the Wizards will make it competitive regardless of who's out there. But I kind of like it. The other thing is Koulibaly has already laid claim to the Alcatraz name.
It's true.
So, and if Jordan Walsh wants the Alcatraz nickname for himself, then they might have to have a defense off, a defense contest.
What would you have, closeouts?
Right.
Just a drill,
they have to defend each other, and whoever scores the most points gets the nickname.
Yeah, they should do. I can't even say this media day thing, but they should go up against the coaches, just 5-on-1, and whoever survives the most, then you earn the name.
It's all right.
Real quick though, I will say this too. A friend of mine brought this up, saying we were talking about how guys like Jaylen and the stars need a rest because it's a long season, 82 regular season games, a playoff push, etc. But my friend goes, "How could you? Man, they ain't got to rest. They get paid X, and that's a whole nother discussion. No. But the wear and tear on your bodies, you got to find.
Look around
time.
The league. Right. The Celtics are one of the rarely healthy teams in the NBA right now.
Right. But it does make me nervous. Do you rest against? It's almost crazy because you rest against the teams that aren't great, because how do the Celtics do against these teams? They haven't been so great. So Jaylen's dang.
It's tough. And I do think just the idea of, Jaylen, while he's healthy, whether it was the hamstring coming into the year or, the little bumps and bruises along the way, he's just not going to want a downturn. And yet, sometimes you just got to protect these guys over the grind of the long season. Now, the one thing that makes me kind of now zag from what I just said, once you get through these next couple of games, the NBA Cup scheduling, you're only going to have 2 games in 11 nights. So maybe that in the back of your mind. If you can just survive through 23, 24 games, now all of a sudden it gets a lot easier. But I just think you got to be diligent with it. And knowing back to back, I wonder if they'll trade.
Celtics handle business against the Wizards. My heart already in the NBA Cup game against the Brooklyn.
Kayla, just call somebody out ever since you took Jordan Walsh.
Yeah, do I need you know what? Baylor. Baylor, this is your time to shine, B. This is your time to shine. I want the kiss to the stands, the three, the whatever. Yes. He can shine in these moments.
Shout out to Amari Williams today, the most impactful 6 seconds.
He went into foul.
Well, what's funny is Joe went out of his way to praise him afterward. And I bring it up in jest because we're trying to motivate the younger guys who are going to play in this Wizards game. But from the defense at the end of that Cleveland game on Mobley to tonight, hey, go foul Mr. Robinson. It's a good way to endear yourself to your coach.
And the funny thing is,
you're doing what you're asked to do.
His point differential will say otherwise.
Yeah,
but
-1 tonight.
You know what? But that's the best. Joe is about to change the game for everybody. -1 is actually a +21.
I mean, really, again, the fact that he shouted him out at the post-game press conference tells you, because while he was -1,
job,
he saved the Celtics a point there, and off they go. 123, 117. All right, we need everybody to go subscribe.
Try Jellimal.
Go check us out on the YouTube page. If you have any Jordan Walsh nicknames that are better than
Please.
Michael Jordan Walsh, which I don't think you can come up with,
Walsh
leave them in the
machine.
comment section. We'll catch you on Thursday night after the Wizards game, where regardless of who is available for the Celtics, we'll be available for the Celtics Talk podcast.